Hi, and welcome to another episode of What Makes Me Shine. My name is Steph Lloyd, and as a natural health practitioner and coach, what makes me shine is to help others find their shine. In this show, I've gathered for you amazing people who do just that. So today, I have the privilege to speak to the amazing Rachel Wilkinson. Rachel created RawYogi to work with a blend of healing therapies to support people wanting to navigate the modern world more effectively, using sound and movement, body and breath work to encourage and facilitate change. In 2018, Rachel founded cyc.community.yoga.collective, a grassroots, not-for-profit community project making well-being accessible for all, whilst valuing the skills of teachers, facilitators, and therapists, building community from the ground up. So hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Thanks for being on. Thanks for coming on. It's lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you too. Thanks for asking me. And actually, just sort of sat listening to your introduction of me. It made me smile, because you sort of forget, don't you, all the sort of things, and you just do your thing. And to sort of hear it all put together like that, yeah, nice. So thank you, Steph.
My pleasure. It's lovely to see you out of the yoga class. I'm lucky enough to do my yoga with Rachel every week, so that's great. So tell us, what makes you shine then, Rachel?
Oh, what a beautiful question. That question instantly sort of just brings a smile to my face and a warmth in my heart. I'm really fortunate in that I truly believe I found my life's purpose, if you want to call it that, or my passion project, my vocation. And so, what makes me shine? What makes me shine is being able to provide space, safe space, where people can shine themselves, right? I'm never happier than sort of just being witness to people's change. And I think that's, fundamentally because there were people that, viewed my change, and so this is a kind of a two-way street. I mean, if we're talking in terms of my work, obviously, and that's kind of what makes me shine in that respect. In my sort of personal life, my family, my friends, nature, being active, doing stuff purely for the love of it, and there's no agenda or expectation. So I think there's lots of things that make me shine, actually. I could go on, but I won't.
Well, please do. When you do your yoga class in the morning and we come to it, and you've always got a positive word or something to give us, or a little lesson to give us, and that's really brings to people. And because we do this in a sports center, which might not have the spirituality with it, I love that you bring that to people, and you're opening this aspect of things to so many people who would normally really not have that in their lives.
So, absolutely. And I think that's probably that kind of being witness to people's change is possible, because the probably the kind of the foundation of everything that I do is accessibility. And when I originally trained to be a yoga teacher, I don't even know whether I necessarily thought I would teach, or I don't know. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but the main sort of focus was to share space with people who may ordinarily not find themselves in those kind of spaces. And I think, as you say, with the gym, that's maybe not considered a space where you can have those conversations, that level of depth and that level of exploration and inquiry. And for me, so much of what I do personally is about that investigation, about that journey. And so I just share that. I always think, when I'm talking to new teachers and things like that, I sort of, and they're saying they're scared or they're nervous. I'm like, one, that's completely normal. Of course it is. But also, you're not actually being expected to share anything with anyone that you don't already know. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm being asked to go to Little Down and talk about physics or something that I have no idea about. I'm being asked to go there and just share what I love, what I have experienced works for me. And so it would be completely unnatural for me not to do that, you know. So it's really nice that people warm to that and receive that, like in the way that I hope they would, you know, and embrace that kind of, yeah, that invitation. That's what it is, isn't it? It's always an invitation to just explore, play. Yeah. And that's yeah, I think probably my main focus on everything I do, really. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and I think that's a great opportunity for everybody. So tell us, I mean, the amazing CYC that runs all in the Bournemouth area, and you're everywhere, and it's so brilliant. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I always anybody that knows me or that has been with me at any kind of thing, an event or something like this as well, I always get quite emotional about the sort of the kind of idea or the kind of development of the project. You know, I worked in mental health services for a really long time with many people who would find accessing things really, really challenging for many reasons.
Yeah.
It might be financial, you know, a lot of people it is financial. The wellbeing industry is, you know, God, notoriously expensive and overpriced in lots of different ways. And so finances is one thing, but also just in terms of like, you know, being shown that they have a space somewhere that maybe they felt they don't, you know, this kind of perception, these kind of conditions that people are under that kind of say, actually, you don't belong here. And there's a lot of spaces like that as well, not necessarily deliberately, you know, it's not that anybody's trying to do this deliberately. Although I think probably there are some things that are sort of deliberately designed for certain people and not for others. I think that is true. But, you know, on the whole, I don't think people, you know, develop well-being sessions and to separate people. But that is what essentially happens. So when I was in mental health services, obviously I've got, you know, I'm working with a certain demographic of people. And I myself, you know, was part of that demographic as well. So I've been on both sides of that coin. I've been a provider of services and also a service user. So I had all of these things and I was witness to stuff that works, stuff that maybe doesn't. And I honestly, Steph, like just thought the people could do better. I've never sort of, I'm not going to get too political, but I've never apologized for the fact that the development of CYC was a political statement by me as an antidote to a government that I believe that don't have people at its heart. And that's all I'll say about that. Because otherwise we'll be here for about 4 hours. Yeah. But you get me, right? And,
I absolutely get you.
So I left services in 2018, winter solstice. I left, I went to India and Sri Lanka. And the idea had always been there: accessibility, affordability, achievability. How do we make this sustainable whilst celebrating the amazing work that all these other practitioners, teachers and therapists are doing? How do we make that stuff accessible for people? And so I put together like our values, our aims, our sort of objectives. It was quite formalized in Sri Lanka. I drew our logo with on a napkin in India. You know, it's all so grassroots. And, you know, I was really keen on getting the idea out as opposed to spending, you know, all this time, you know, dotting my I's and crossing my T's, right? You know, I just wanted it out there and just see what people thought. So the premise is, because the other thing that I'm really aware of is that there are incredible voluntary projects, people doing amazing work, but because of a lack of communication so many times, because we're just really bloody busy, but a lack of communication means that work is replicated loads and loads, and resources can be wasted. Money which isn't there isn't always distributed fairly, yada yada yada. So I was like, nobody wants to work more. I know I don't. No one wants to work more. So what if we could tap into the work that was already happening and make spaces on classes, workshops, retreats, whatever it is, under the wellbeing heading, make spaces for our members, CYC members, donation only. So you pay what you can afford to get into these classes. And then nobody works for free. Nobody works for free, because let's have it right, we've all got rent, bills, all of that to pay. So, and also it's not sustainable. You know, you might be able to offer your time once or twice on a you know, free basis or whatever, but longevity requires there to be payment of people, right? So we started to do events and fundraising events that provided a community pot. And then what happens is CYC members get their schedule through each month. They can click on that, contact the teacher, go to any class that's on our schedule on a donation basis. Then the teachers invoice CYC's community pot and we pay their top up. So we're basically subsidizing people into classes with the use of the money from people who come to our events from the community. So the idea was that people support people to support themselves, right? And then it all just does this. And the reality is that loads of people, you know, are paying for stuff all the time. All the time, people are going to retreats, to this, to that. You know, there is money. There is money, basically.
Yeah.
How do we get that money to pay for the people that need subsidizing? Well, we put on an event that people would go to ordinarily, and we make the ticket price go to our community pot. So yeah, 5 years ago, actually this not this month, next month, April, will be, I think, our 5-year birthday. And within that, you know, obviously we've all been through a pandemic that changed a lot for us. So much of CYC sort of advertising and you know, fundraising is out. It's in the community. It's with people, you know. And so 2020 was challenging for us, you know. But what it made me realize is, like, okay, we've just got to change our sails. We've just got to adapt. We've got to, you know, find a way of getting this. So we just went online. People were amazing. They donated throughout 2020. I did lots of donation classes online, and all that money went back into CYC. And here we are, you know, here we are. And I feel like it's been so well received because I feel so strongly about it. You know, it's like I'm just so, just so passionate about people feeling part of something. You know, we might be offering spaces in an array of different well-being, but actually what's more important is the connection, the gathering of people. And I was just sick of sort of seeing classes that were specific to certain demographics of people. And although I believe in sharing stories and identifying, and that's part of the healing process, how we step beyond our stories is to be inspired by different types of people. And if you're always in a class that's just for you and your issue, whatever it is, you're never going to step out of that. And I wanted people to access stuff that was special to them, like, you know. And also our you know, thing with CYC is that nobody gets anything for free either. So people don't work for free, and you don't get classes for free. I don't care.
It's an exchange.
Yes, I don't care. Put in 20p, a penny, it doesn't matter. But start feeling empowered and responsible for your well-being, rather than this kind of, oh, poor you, here's a free class. It's just so, I mean, God, I talk about this so much with different voluntary groups. Stop offering free stuff.
It's not
give
empowering.
People, and you know, because we're open about that, money isn't a taboo subject. We talk about things. People will come to things, go, oh, Rach, you know, I haven't got anything this week, can I do next week? Yes, of course. it's okay. It's okay. But there's an exchange. There's energetically, and between the teacher and the student. So so that's kind of what we've been doing. And what's beautiful now as well is that it originally started out as yoga, mindfulness, meditation, things like that. And now, like, we've got the most amazing timetable with like choir, creative writing, dance, circuits, fitness, yoga, Pilates, like we've got all sorts, and we're expanding. So the name will be changing, but I'm going to keep you all in suspense, and in about a month's time, watch this space, I'll do a little drum roll and do all of that. But the name doesn't incorporate everything we do anymore. And I suppose sometimes the term yoga can be a little off-putting for people, right? They think they've got to be flexible or this or that. So we're removing all of that and just making it even more accessible for people. And we're going to start providing holistic treatments. We've got some gorgeous people offering massage, and I'm super excited. It's gonna, and also we're gonna be we're also an organization now as well, so I've got a team behind me. We've got 16 teachers we collaborate with who are on the schedule, and another sort of 4 or 5 projects in the local area that we collaborate with. We're also about sharing resources and giving people information about certain bits and pieces that are going on in the local area that they can connect to. So I mean, I could talk about CYC for forever, really. It is, I'm shameless about it, really.
And you should be very proud. It's an amazing project, and there's so much going on. And the summer's coming, and then you pop up everywhere. What's the plan for the summer? Have you got anything?
So summer, we've got some beautiful fundraisers in the pipeline. Hopefully some little sort of half-day retreats and stuff. I've got some new links with some different people who are looking to collaborate and sort of start to put some different things out there. We've also got our summer sessions in Shelley Park.
Oh, I love those. Beautiful
park in mind. Yes. So once the weather starts behaving itself, we'll start venturing into Shelley Park. So we do that again, like on a Sunday morning. There's lots of different yoga in parks all over the place, but nobody was doing anything in Boscombe. And me and Peter, sort of like the lead of Parks in Mind, we met at this mad, I think it was like some celebration, conversations in Bournemouth or something like that, a few years back now. And we were like, what about Boscombe? What about us? And so we were like, well, if you want something doing, do it yourself, right? Put it together. So this year, 5 years for Parks in Mind and CYC, yoga in the park in Shelley Park in the summer. And then, it's donations, and it's amazing because it sustains itself. So we don't have to apply for funding and things like that, because the people that come to the class pay the teacher. Anything left over gets split at the end of the summer between 2 projects. And honestly, it just works so perfectly. You don't have to go through the rigmarole of funding. Also, as well, like working in mental health services, funding lasts only so long. And then it's pulled, and then the people that have been supported just fall through the net and are disappointed time and time again. And it's part of the reason why I wanted CYC to be self-supporting, because although we can apply for funding now that we're an organisation, I don't want to have to rely on it. I want us to be able to make our own money, and that comes from the people that share the passion for the project. So just forever grateful for the people that support me in the vision of CYC. It's amazing.
It's total genius, absolute genius, how you've made this work and kept it going through the pandemic.
And madness, Steph, madness.
And a bit of madness, but we love you for it, Rach. We really do.
You've got to be slightly mental to do this. But it's worth it. Makes me shine. You can see it when I talk about it.
Makes you shine.
I light up. I light up. Absolutely.
Yeah. And somehow in this busy schedule of yours, you still manage to do some one-to-ones, right?
Well, I do So it's mad, yeah. You know, part of the reason why CYC is also going to be an organization is because I want to move away, or I want people to move away from the idea that CYC is me. CYC is not me, you know. I am the founder of this project, right? And we've now got, you know, some committee members and things like that. Because before I set up CYC, you know, I trained as a yoga teacher and subsequently a yoga therapist. My passion has always been, you know, to support people, like you said at the beginning, to navigate, you know, what is an increasingly crazy world more effectively. And how do we do that with people? How do we get people to a place of change? And for me, it's been you know, an approach with trauma sensitive, trauma informed practices. My training took me down that road, so I've done a lot of training with trauma. My, you know, mental health background as well, worked with trauma, complex need, and now I also train teachers with trauma sensitive practice. Because it's, for me, it's not only about making wellbeing accessible, it's also about making sure that the facilitators and trainers feel confident to be able to support the people who are accessing their classes. And I honestly don't feel that at this stage of the game, right, we can assume that we're not going to have complex need in our sessions. Like maybe before 2020, maybe. Even that, though, I think is debatable. But even now, you know, we are just seeing more and more people with overactive nervous systems, super stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, like just people need support. And if we're not doing that for ourselves as the guide, as the person who's holding that space, then we become burnt out, we become frazzled, we're unable to self-regulate, right, and bring ourselves back into that window of tolerance where we can cope and deal with all of these things that are coming around. So, you know, I'm doing that side of stuff. But then I then kind of probably about 7 years ago, and this is all like tied in with my own journey, you know. So I'm a talking therapist as well, and, you know, a solution focused therapist. And I spent years, you know, working with people on that kind of modality. And then we started bringing movement in, and then we started bringing sound in, and then we start bringing touch in. And, you know, to think of the mind and the body as two separate things is just, well, I mean, it's crazy that there are still people that think that. I mean, you know, you go to the doctor here and it's just, what meds can I give you? You know, you go to sort of Ayurvedic doctor, or it's like, what's your food? What's your sleep? What, you know, it's like, what's your home life? What's your environment, you know? And so, yeah, so like and that was happening personally for me too. So my professional and personal life have sort of run alongside one another, because as I mentioned earlier, you know, I've had my own experience of poor mental health, and what works for me, and then exploring that to be able to share that with others. So yeah, so about 7 years ago, you know, I started exploring touch, massage, and then sound, and then using the two combined. And in actual fact, might look a little bit tired, because I was like up till 1 o'clock in the morning, Steph. That never happens for me these days. But I got really into like doing all my bits and pieces for my website. Because I've been doing the CYC website, well, with my angel friend Lisa. Like, she is just she's been amazing for me, and she's built my confidence to be able to maybe do a website for myself. Because, like she said, like, unless people want to scroll through my social media, there's nowhere at the touch of a button where anybody knows what I do, and I don't even think you really know what I do.
No, there's so much, you know, there is so much that you do. So I think that's a really important thing for you, to gather it all in one place.
In one place,
and
so
go,
people
this
can
is
find me and see what I do. And
amazing,
you know,
Rachel.
yeah.
You owe it to the world, girl. You really do. We need to know.
I know. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It's a bit of residue, isn't it, from the past, and that, you know, sort of
There's always
self-promotion.
residue. There's always another layer, isn't it?
A bit of nervousness, or, you know, whatever, you know. Yeah.
Time to shine. You know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I am.
You are. You totally are. You totally are. So thank you for sharing everything with us. That's so brilliant, and I can't wait for the summer to be back in the park doing yoga with you. That's going to be brilliant. Or any of your amazing practice, yoga teachers that you're, that helping you and doing all this amazing work. So thank you so much. So
you're so welcome.
Where can we find you? I mean, I know it's all going to change, but I believe that all the links are going to be followed on through and everything. You got some techie expert, amazing people that are doing all this magic for you, right?
I have. Where maybe you lack, find the people to lean into, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
The technical stuff is where I'm not that. It doesn't make me shine.
It doesn't make me shine much either. It took us a while to get online today, didn't it?
It did, honestly, little tech gremlins. So you can find me on social media. We are on Facebook. There's a lovely public group that was set up in 2020 to keep people connected, and it's CYC Community Yoga Collective public group. You can request to join, and people are most welcome, and it's a place where we share, and it's just a nice space to be. If you're not on Facebook, then same, cyc.community.yoga.collective is Instagram.
It will all be on the YouTube.
Yeah. Good.
As well. So I'll write it all out and it'll be on there so people can find you.
And then if you want to get hold of me on CYC, it's Rachel at communityyogacollective.org. And if you want to get hold of me, via the stuff that I do in my business, then it's Raw.Yogi at outlook.com. But yeah, Steph will put it all up for everybody, so you don't have to. I don't have to remember, and neither do you lot.
So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for your time this afternoon, Rachel. I'm so grateful for everything that you do, and I'm sure a lot of people will be with me to say that you've changed their lives and really enabled people to do all this stuff. Going to a yoga class for the first time can be a scary thing, and and the cost and everything else, and you've just really made this possible for people to start on their journey. And I mean, what a journey. It really is a life-changing thing, yoga, isn't it? It really changed mind, body, spirit, breath, everything. It changes everything. So thank you.
And I might just as a sort of closing note, all of that, I received that, and that really landed, and thank you for saying that to me, Steph. But in all honesty, it's such a two-way street. Like, the amount of times that I turn up for class and I'm on my mat and I'm maybe not doing that great either, and it's a safe space for me to share that as well. Do you know what I mean? And people receive me exactly as I am. I'm not this unobtainable person, I'm really down on the ground with people. And so I just thank everybody that comes to class, that holds space for me as well, because, it really is. It really is that two-way street. So thank you. And thank you, Steph, for this opportunity. It's been really beautiful to talk to you.
You're such a beautiful soul. Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for listening as well. Thank you everyone for listening. I will put all the links down below. If you like what you heard and you'd like to hear more about amazing guests I've got lined up, click on the like and subscribe to my channels, and I hope to see you again very soon. So thanks again, everybody. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Steph. Bye-bye.
Speak soon. Bye.